Kevin Hassett, the NEC director, was on CNBC, and he is trying to avoid admitting the obvious, which is that Donald Trump's disastrous economic decisions are causing problems for farmers. They're causing problems for trade. He's trying to find language that will allow them to acknowledge there are problems, but to blame someone else. Never, never acknowledge that Trump may be part of the problem. But if you read between the lines or listen to exactly what he is saying, you realize that the problems Hassett is acknowledging are actually Trump's fault. He won't say it, but you can read between the lines. Take a listen.
Just shifting gears a little, where are we on trade? Where are we with China? Could you see tariff money being used to support the farmers who obviously are being hit hard by, I think, China retaliated against some of the tariffs recently. Maybe they had slowed buying soybeans last year, but certainly they went to zero in May based on the tariffs. Right. Is that an option that it's going to happen?
So Joe Kernan, as MAGA and Trumpy as he is, does say the reason China is no longer buying American soybeans is because of the tariffs. And we've got soybeans just sitting around. And meanwhile, China's getting its soybeans from other countries. This is because of Trump's tariffs. It's optional. It's self-imposed. Let's see how Hassett deals with it.
Right. The president has already said that he thinks that the tariff money is going to be useful for helping us find the funds that we need to help farmers. We've had numerous meetings over the last week or two about exactly what we're going to do.
Now, let me pause it already. We've dealt with this before. Hassett is saying we are going to solve a problem Trump caused with the money that we are collecting due to the tariffs. So you're basically just saying we're gonna what's that thing? We're gonna rob Peter to pay Paul, or what's that thing that they say? I've not a frequent user of that phrase. You have created a problem with the tariffs, and then you're going to now try to sort of bail out the farmers by taking the tariff money, which supposedly was going to go to economic growth. We were going to be so rich and wealthy. And you're just going to say, now I've got to give it to the farmers because of the problem that my very tariffs created. That doesn't sound very good.
To help the farmers, but we're taking big measures, and those big measures are going to be public really, really soon. And yes, so for sure, China has, especially for soybean farmers, has stopped buying U.S. soybeans. Right now, the silos are full, and there are soybeans sitting on the ground with tarps over them. That's unacceptable to the president. We're calling up all our soybean companies.
It's completely unacceptable to the president. Well, then why did he do this? It's like an arsonist sets a house on fire and goes, this is so terrible. I don't like this. I've really got to do something about this. Well, you could have opted not to set the house on fire, right? Wouldn't that have made more sense at some point?
Customers around the world as part of our trade negotiations, and we're also getting ready to have really strong policies to support our farmers.
We haven't heard anything about trade negotiations recently. What happened to India?
It's still a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. You know, sometimes it's really good to narrow the focus and say, give me some really specific answers here. We were told China was going to come crawling. They were going to be begging, please, sir, let's make a deal. We've got to do it now. It has been, 6 months now? And we have no deal with China. And China, which wants and needs soybeans for its economy, is saying, let's let the American soybeans rot in the silo, covered with a tarp, as Kevin Hassett said. And we're going to just go and get our soybeans somewhere else. Cool. So what is going on? What's going on with India? Conversations are ongoing. Hassett was then asked by Kernan, what about the efficiency of government? We're in a shutdown and you guys were going to make government more efficient. And Kevin Hassett's answer is borderline unintelligible.
And government employment, the latest numbers I'm seeing, is down by more than 200,000. And so for sure, we're going to continue to want to make government more efficient. But right now, this particular moment is about keeping the government open. And if the Democrats refuse to keep the government open, then perhaps the efforts we've been making to make government more efficient will even accelerate because of the extra legal authorities we have because they haven't appropriated the funds.
Now, of course, that is a lie. Everything in there is a lie. Of course, I don't know how you can argue that this is a Democratic-led government shutdown when Republicans control everything. But there is no special authority for the executive during a government shutdown. In fact, legal experts have argued there is diminished authority because so many levers of government aren't functioning during a government shutdown. This reinforces something we started talking about last week, which I think is important. There are, I don't want to call it, sane and insane or sort of loaded, sometimes pejoratively used terms. There are there are individuals in Trump's administration on the economic side who recognize things are going in the wrong direction. It seems clear that privately they know Trump is the catalyst for those things going in the wrong direction. Publicly, they are still defending Donald Trump. But step one is acknowledging that there is a problem. They are acknowledging there is a problem with farmers right now. They are acknowledging there is a problem with trade. There's a problem with India and China, which we were told were going to come begging, just crawling across the floor to make a deal. And they haven't done it. They're acknowledging that. We know from leaked text messages that we looked at last week that privately, they're even communicating about that. It has not gone public, but you can tell from the fact that they're no longer denying the problem. They're just shifting the blame. They understand that this can only go so far. And the bigger problem for them is that at every public opportunity, Donald Trump is only making it worse for them. For example, in his latest press conference.